Welcome everyone to a new demo build video. Today we'll be discussing my build for the Technomancer. This build has a good consistent clear speed as you have buff damage without ever having to reload. This build has a hard time staying alive, but with the use of a few mods and class points we can greatly increase the survivability. Depending on your gear and investment, this build will have either very low survivability or a really good survivability. This build was not made for single target damage. As such, it is not very good in the single target damage department. However, we will be using a skill to at least get a good amount of burst damage, making single target encounters less annoying when playing this build. While this build doesn't stand out in any of these departments, it is incredibly fun to play. Being able to hold the left click down and just mow down targets is probably the most fun I've had in this game, and I do recommend trying this build if you're tired of farming or looking to play for fun in general. This build requires no epic or legendary gear at all. For our skills, we'll be using Bloated Run as our main perk, and by making use of an armor mod, this skill will have a complete 100% uptime during most encounters. Bloated Run buffs our damage and ricochets between targets while inflicting the toxic debuff to any target it hits, making it great for clearing ads without having to finish everything off with bullets. Toxic will also lower the health of a lot of targets you haven't paid attention to yet, making them easier to take down later. Next, we'll be using Shrapnel, which will be used for our single target damage. We're pairing this skill with some mods to make it slightly better, and will be our only good single target damage along with our primary weapon. Note that this skill will mostly be burst damage, and won't be consistent boss damage. The third skill you use is up to you. Both Cryo Turret and Pain Launcher can work, however, keep in mind that you might not be able to use any mods to buff these skills. Choose based on your playstyle, and adjust to your own needs. For our class points, we'll be using Suction Module. This perk is essential in helping you stay alive, and while it won't single-handedly keep you alive, it makes the build smoother to play. We'll be utilizing other ways to heal up, which I will discuss later in the video. We'll also be getting Impact Amplifier, which gives us a slight buff to our weapon's damage. We'll be pairing Bloated Run with 3 mods, the most important of which is Trick Up the Sleeve. This perk will reload 30% of our magazine when we kill an enemy. We'll pair this with a light machine gun, which makes this mod reload enough bullets for us to essentially give us infinite ammo. Since Bloated Run doesn't use your own ammo reserves, you will never have to restock. Secondly, we'll be using No Pain, No Gain. This mod will heal you for a part of the damage that you have done during the uptime of Bloated Rounds. Since our Bloated Rounds will never end, this mod might seem useless, however, you can trigger the end of Bloated Rounds by switching weapons fairly easily. Even if your Bloated Rounds only have been up for a short while, you will usually be healed fully when ending Bloated Rounds. Do keep in mind that switching weapons will put Bloated Rounds on a 1 minute cooldown, and will lower your damage output. Decide in the moment whether healing fully and running for cover benefits you more than staying out and shooting. If you notice you have no problem staying alive at all while playing this build, you may switch this mod out for another. Adjust to your own needs. Lastly, for our Bloated Run skill, we'll be using Critical Analysis for a slight damage increase when shooting headshots. This mod makes the build slightly smoother, but can easily be dropped to buff whichever third skill you chose. For Shrapnel, we'll be using the mod More Traps, which gives us an extra shrapnel bomb and basically doubles our single target burst damage. We'll also be using the mod More Damage, which gives our shrapnel bomb a damage buff. I recommend keeping both of these mods and only considering switching them if you don't plan on fighting any bosses or mini-bosses. Next up we have our weapons. For our main weapon we'll be using a light machine gun as mentioned before. The high ammo capacity, relatively slow fire rate and the decent damage per shot makes this weapon type perfect for our build. Make sure your weapon has the Weapon Life Leech perk on it, instead of crit damage or armor piercing, as Weapon Life Leech plays a crucial role in staying alive with this build. You can have almost any mod on this weapon, however, I recommend a mod similar to Fusion Blast or Firework if you want a smoother clear speed. If you have trouble staying alive, I recommend going with Shield Maiden, Essence Thief or Ruler of Leeches. Pair this with a weapon that also has Essence Thief or Shield Maiden to help you stay alive if you have switched weapons. Use a sniper or shotgun if you want more single target damage. A few things to note are that the Trick of the Sleeve mod does not reload your weapon when an enemy dies from a status effect like Toxic or Burn. It only reloads when you kill with a bullet. Also, after you go into a new area with a special animation like opening a door or pushing away rubble, the game will reset your skills. Make sure to activate Bloated Rounds again after going through these animations. Try to avoid ammo restock boxes as much as you can, since they will end Bloated Rounds without resetting the cooldown. Remember that Bloated Rounds does not use your ammo reserves. Alright, that was the entire build. I hope you found this useful. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or ask me live on Twitch. The link will be in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one.